Hello guys, welcome back to my channel if you're new here. Hello, my name is Laura. I'm a professional homebody and an obsessive reader, and over here we like to read, talk about books, and I do also post the occasional cozy home vlog. In today's video we are going to be going over all the books that I read in January, and we're also going to use my TBR jar and my TBR cat to pick a couple of books for my February TBR. I'm not sure how many prompts I'm going to pick from the jar today just because I have a few books on my TBR that I need to read in February already, and I'm also hosting my second in-person book club at the end of the month, so I already have a book that I need to read for that as well. Maybe just do 2 or 3 prompts from the jar today, and then the next TBR jar video we will do a full month's TBR. But anyway guys, grab yourself a drink, get comfy, and let's get into today's video. Okay guys, I'm actually going to start off with doing my TBR jar picks just because I think that's a really fun way to start the video. I think we are going to do 3 prompts. Overall, I'm setting my goal for this month around 6 books because I know I've got a very busy month ahead of me. I'm going to New York in a couple of days. I'll have a lot of work to catch when I get back, and so I just don't think February is going to be a good reading month for me. Not in terms of the books I'm going to read, but in terms of the amount I'm going to be able to read. So I think 6 will be an achievable number, hopefully, for February. So in terms of the book already on my February TBR, I have Hexed by Emily McIntyre, and I have this really nice sprayed edge edition from The Works. This is my little in-person book club book for February, so at the end of the month we'll be all getting together at my house and going through our thoughts and feelings and ratings of Hexed. The next book on my TBR for February is Heavenly Bodies by Imani Eriu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And I have this stunning Fairy Loot edition of the book. This is my Fable Book Club's book of the month. If you're not already part of my online book club and you'd like to read along with us, please do feel free to join us. It's completely free and anybody is welcome, and this is the book we are reading for February. I'm just going to quickly show you the inside and the naked hardback because this book is absolutely stunning. I am obsessed. Fairy Loot do a lot of really stunning books, but I really feel like they've outdone themselves with this edition, and wait till you see the art on the end pages. I'm sorry. And then this is the back. You cannot tell me that seeing those pictures doesn't make you want to read this book. It's also signed by Imani, which is lovely. Let's have a look at the map. Oh yeah, here's the map. Gorgeous. I have a feeling I'm going to really love this book. I've had this on my TBR for literally, I think 3 years. Whenever it first came out and it was indie published, I added it to my TBR, and I have no idea why I never got around to picking it up. Things just kept getting in the way, but now is finally the time to pick this up and read it. I do think it has changed a little bit since it was indie published, but don't hold me to that. So very, very excited to get stuck into this. And then the third book that I really need to try and read, and probably ASAP, is Nightbane. And the reason why I want to try read this one is I have read Light Lark. I read that in November or December. It was again one of our book club's book of the month, and I think I rated it 3.5, 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I thought it was really fun, and it was just a nice easy read at the time. But I think while I'm in New York next week, Emmy and I are going to go and catch up with Alex. So when we catch up, her and Emmy aren't talking about spoilers left, right and centre for me. So yeah, I need to try and get this one read. I may even read this on the plane on the way over there. And hopefully if I can maybe even squeeze in Sky Shade beforehand, so I'm all up to date. And then they can say whatever they want in front of me without causing me any spoilers. I was just looking at my cart before as well, and I actually do need to have a little bit of a reorganise, because there's a couple of books on there that I read in January, and then there's a couple of books on there obviously that I'm going to read this month as well, but it's fine because I know which ones they are, so I'll just avoid them. So anyway guys, let's pick our first prompt. By the way, I did make a video of me making my TBR jar and all the prompts that I have put in here, and if you want to go and check that out for inspiration for your own TBR jar and prompts that you could use, do go check that out. It will be on my channel, and I'll also link it in the description of this video. But let's choose our first prompt. I'm gonna give it a good mix up. Okay, so the first one is insect or animal on the cover. Okay, so I have a few here that have got insects or animals on them. I picked up Anathema by Kerry Lake. I also picked up Split or Swallow, which has a little snake on the cover. I think this cover is stunning, and this is one that I do really want to read soon. I also picked up Bewitched because it has a moth at the top. I also picked up How Does It Feel by Janina O'Reilly because it has moths on the cover. This is another one that has been on my TBR for such a long time, and I just haven't got around to picking it up yet. I also picked up Insatiable by Lee Rivers. I feel like this is one that I'm going to absolutely love, so I am very keen to pick this one. And then I also picked up Godkiller because it's got the stag on the front. This one I probably won't pick, particularly because I think it's YA, and I'm just not really in a YA mood at the moment, so I'm probably not going to pick that one. So realistically, I think it's out of Insatiable, How Does It Feel, and Split or Swallow. I feel like I want to save Insatiable for a month where I don't have as much to do and I can read the whole trilogy. So I'm probably not going to pick Insatiable just for that reason. So it is out of these two, and because both of these are quite short as well, I think they'll be good ones to try and do this month. But again, this one is part of a series. I've started so many series recently and just read like the first book or the first 2 books and then haven't continued the series because I've had too many other books that I wanted to try read. So it's maybe not the best idea to start another series. So I think really that leaves us with Split or Swallow by Lindsay Straub. This one is being traditionally published very soon, I think, and it's being traditionally published as Kiss of the Basilisk. Also, as you can probably tell from the title, this one is spicy. I think he is a basilisk, so there's that. So anyway, this one is the first one we are going to pick. Okay, next prompt. Okay, this one says book with a map. Okay, fun. Let's have a look. Okay, so I have picked out these 3 because they all have maps. So firstly, I have here the Bridge Kingdom, and I have heard such good things about this. And again, it has been on my TBR for a long time. The map is very small, I think, because it's just a little paperback. But that is the map. So this is a solid contender. And again, it's quite small, it's quite short. So this one could be a good one to read this month when I know I'm going to be quite busy. Again, I have picked out Anathema, and another reason why I would like to read this is because it was my book club's book last month and I didn't read it, and that is the first month I have not read my book club's book of the month. I just could not get round to it. I had so much to read for my reading vlog that I was doing, and unfortunately this just took a back seat. And also I did say to Laura over on Elite Reading that we would do a buddy read for this, so I think I may pick this one. Let's have a look at the map. Oh, this is actually really pretty inside. I have heard mixed reviews about this one. I think people either love it or they've just found it's not hit how they wanted. And I absolutely adore Nocticadia by Kerry Lake. It is in my God tier. I basically have every single one of Kerry Lake's books on my TBR. I'm hoping to read pretty much everything she has released this year, fingers crossed. So I do really want to get this ticked off that list. I do feel like I could be one of the people that really loves this, but I would be really interested to see how I feel about this one. So I think I might pick this one, but I will show you the other book that I picked out. And the other book I picked out is Throne of the Fallen by Kerry Maniscalco. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't read her other series, which I think this is sort of connected to. The map in this is stunning though. I have heard really good things about this. I do really want to read it, but again, it would mean starting a new series. And do I want to do that to myself? I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what, guys? I think I'm going to go for Anathema. The only other reason why I could maybe put this off is because the audiobook for this releases next month, I think. And I maybe would prefer to do this when I can immersive read it with the audio. Also, I did say to Laura we could do a buddy read of it this month. We'll do this one. We'll go for Anathema. I don't know if I've been pronouncing it right, but I sometimes call it Anathema. But I think it's meant to be pronounced Anathema, but I always thought it was Anathema. So if I've pronounced it both ways during this video, I apologise. But as far as I believe, it is meant to be Anathema. Okay, last prompt. Guys. Eddie chooses my book. Okay, this could be interesting, but actually works really well because it's currently Sunday, so that means Eddie is at home, so he can actually do this for me. Okay. I guess I'll shout him. Eddie? Can you come help me, please? So I need you to pick a book for me from my TBR cart, because I've got a prompt here that says Eddie chooses your book. There are a couple on here that I have already read, but I'll just tell you to avoid those ones if it looks like you're going to pick them up. But other than that, you can choose whatever you want, and I've got to read it this month. I'll move out the way. You can take it away for this one. Maybe introduce yourself since you've not been on here before.
Hello everyone, I am the husband.
Right. Take your pick. You can pull them out and look at the covers, whatever you want to do. Could you just pass me my coffee, please, babe? It's just on the top there.
It's dangerous.
It's not as dangerous as it looks, I promise.
I'm just going to go by the spine, I think.
No, have a look at the covers. Come on. Get into it. What have we got there?
A Deal with the Elf King, a Married to Magic novel.
Ooh, that looks interesting. That could be an option.
Good option. Horsey Vibes.
Horsey Vibes, Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope.
Oh.
Oh, okay, that one is actually already on my TBR for this month.
Fine. I'll put it back then.
Thank you. That would have been a good choice otherwise.
Yep, I like the name. There Are No Saints.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that could be a good one.
I like the snakes. And then that one, I keep going back to that.
Oh, that one I did read. I did read
fine.
this month, yeah. Fine. So that one was really good as well.
Fine. Right then. Well, are you going to read all of them or?
No, you've just got to pick one.
Shortlisted. There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark.
He liked the snakes.
And I like the black and white cover. Holding the Reins, Horsey Vibes.
Horsey Vibes.
I like the pink colours on it with a sizzling cowboy romance that will leave you breathless. Sexy. Maybe that one. That one just looks a bit weird.
That looks like something I would normally read.
Yeah. Centuries the elves have taken a young woman from the Wellers village to be their human queen. To be chosen is seen as a mark of death by the townsfolk.
Oh, interesting.
A Mark, Luella, a healer, thought she'd escaped. That is, until the Elf King unexpectedly arrives for her.
You're not liking that one?
So I'll go for that one.
Oh, we're going for that one. Okay, interesting. I honestly thought you were going to go for that one.
No.
Okay, yeehaw, I guess.
Grab your reins and let's go.
Oh, it says on the front, he's a dark horse, but can she tame him?
Ooh.
There's a saying in the wild West, save a horse.
Ready, cowboy.
He knows. He knows. Thank you.
All right, goodbye. Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Teddy's sat where I was sitting. You're gonna have to shift, you little man. That was good. Maybe you should pick me a book next. Oh, you can't see the dogs. Got two little friends down here. I think they want to pick me a book next. Okay, interesting. I did not expect Eddie to go for this one. But yeah, I guess we've got a good variety. We've got a cowboy romance. We've got a dark gothic romance. Actually, I think this might be dark gothic fantasy. Dark gothic fantasy. And then we have a smutty monster romance. So a very good variety. So I think now that we have chosen all the books I'm going to read this month, we'll go and sit down in the kitchen and I will go through all the books that I have read in January and my ratings for them all. And honestly, I read some really, really, really good books in January, so I'm very excited to talk and yap about these books. Okay, so now we are going to do a full recap of everything I read in January, and January was such a good reading month for me. I read 11 books in total, and I did film reading vlogs for some of these, so I'll mention which ones I have reading vlogs for and you can go and check those out if you want to. So I'll go through these in the order that I read them. Let's get into it. Okay, I started the month so strong with Neverkeep, and if you haven't heard of Neverkeep, it is by the Twisted Sisters, Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, the authors of Zodiac Academy. And this book is set in Solaria, which is the same world as Zodiac Academy. So if you have read Zodiac Academy and Ruthless Boys and you loved those, there's no way that you won't love this. This gave me almost like a nostalgic feeling when I was reading it, because it was like getting back to the world of Solaria. Even though it's the same world, it still very much felt like a fresh take. So instead of being at an academy like in Zodiac Academy or Ruthless Boys, this is set in a war college, so very much Fourth Wing vibes. And another thing I really liked about this is we got fresh orders. The two FMCs and all the MMCs, they all have different orders to what we saw in Zodiac Academy or Ruthless Boys, and even orders that we haven't heard of before. Again, there was a mystery with Everest, one of our FMCs. We didn't know what she was, we didn't know what she was going to emerge as, and that kept me hooked. I really wanted to find out what she was. Our other FMC, Vesper, you find out what she is very early on, and I'm not going to tell you what it is just because I want it to be a surprise, but oh my god. She gave me very strong Manon vibes from Throne of Glass. I was obsessed with her. She was probably my favorite, to be fair. The MMCs in this, very much Darius Acrux coded. And as always with the Twisted Sisters, the ending of this book had my jaw on the floor. I felt like my heart had been pulled from my chest. Yeah, it was rough. And it's what we come to love and expect from the Twisted Sisters. We expect pain. I would probably suggest reading Zodiac Academy first, mainly just for the reason that it is a completed series and you could read it all right now, whereas this obviously is going to be a series. I'm not sure how many books are going to be in this. I want to say 5. I could just be pulling that number out of nowhere. The second book is due to come out anytime now, I think. Maybe March, April time, maybe May. I'm not sure, but I know it's soon. I've just realized I've told you everything about this book and why I loved it, but I didn't tell you what I rated it. But I think it's probably fairly obvious. But I rated this 5 stars. I loved this and I am so excited to read the next one. So next I read Magnolia Parks, and this was a ride. I rated this 5 stars. This was so messy, so toxic. Reading this felt very addictive. I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to find out what was happening, what was going on. I cried. There was so many beautiful quotes in this. It did go around in circles a lot, but every time it went round in the circle, it got more messy, more toxic. It just kept getting worse and worse for this couple, and I ate it up. I did. I loved this. I hated the characters, but also I love the characters, so I very much love to hate them. And this is one of the books I did a reading vlog on, so you can go check that out. I read book 1 and book 2 in that vlog, as well as 2 other books from the month before. So if you want to see me crying, go watch that vlog. So in between the first Magnolia Parks book and picking up the second book, I read The Hunted Heir by Holly Renee. So this one unfortunately was my lowest rated book for the month, and it was 2.75 stars, just because I think it's really short and it kind of felt like nothing really happened. I didn't really get the closure I would have liked from book one, but I do feel like hopefully book three can bring this back for me, because it is a trilogy and I really did enjoy book one. I think I rated that 4 stars, maybe higher. I loved book one. I thought it was fast paced, it was fun, it was steamy, but fingers crossed book three can bring it back for me. So after that quick break, I went into Daisy Hates. This one again made me cry. I tend to avoid crying on the internet, but in that reading vlog it was kind of unavoidable. This one, I loved the main characters a lot more than I loved the main characters in book one. But one thing about this series is that all the characters are flawed. None of them are perfect. And I actually really liked that about these books, because it was refreshing to have people who have like serious issues. They all would benefit from therapy, I'm not gonna lie. But this book, I ended up rating 4 stars. I didn't find it as addictive as book one, but I think that was just because of the story. I feel like if I had to choose between the couples, I would choose this couple every time. But in terms of how much I enjoyed the book, I think I enjoyed book one more. After reading that, I wanted to get back into fantasy again, so I read A Court This Cruel and Lovely. I rated this 4 stars. It gave me everything I wanted from a romantasy, really. It was fairly fast-paced, and the MMC in this book, he was brooding, he was grumpy, he was morally grey, and yeah, he was just an MMC done well. I feel like there was so much tension in this book, and it was very much a slow burn, which is my favourite. I really loved the side characters in this as well, and also the world building was really good, so I will definitely continue with this series because I did really enjoy it. Next, I went into God of Ruin by Rena Kent. I'm working my way through the Legacy of God series, and this one pleasantly surprised me. From reading about Landon in the other books, I did not think I was gonna like him at all, but I ended up rating this 4 stars. I really liked the FMC in this. She was called Maya. She was mute, she wore blue ribbons in her hair, she was very much gothic Barbie vibes, and I loved her. She's definitely my favourite FMC from the series so far, and that will probably stand now because I don't think I'm gonna like the FMC in the last book. But anyway, this was really good, really enjoyed this, fun time, and I am loving this series. This could be one of my favourite dark romance series of all time. After God of Ruin, I read Onyx Storm. I really didn't want to get left behind with this one. I didn't feel like I was 100% ready to start Onyx Storm when it was released. I don't think I was in the right frame of mind, but I picked it up anyway because I didn't want to get left behind and I didn't want to see any spoilers. Up until about the 40% mark, I would say, I wasn't entirely sold on this. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't. I was happy that the dynamic between Xaden and Violet seemed a lot better in this book, because some of the miscommunication in Iron Flame, honestly, I just wanted to bang my head against a wall. However, once we hit the 40% mark roughly, the pace picked up, they were going on missions, stuff was happening, the world building in this was good, there was a lot more to learn, some questions were answered, which is, again, I really enjoyed about this. And I also did really enjoy all the storyline information we got surrounding Andana and her kind. I definitely enjoyed this so much more than Iron Flame, but it still cannot touch Fourth Wing for me. So for that reason, I rated this 4 stars in the end. I think I rated Iron Flame 3 stars. So Fourth Wing, easy, 5, 6 stars, Infinity Stars. Loved that book with my whole heart. After Onyx Storm, I finished God of Fury by Rena Kent. I don't have a copy of this one yet because it hasn't been published in the UK yet. So I'm hoping that when that comes out, I will get a copy sent to me by Penguin, because they have sent me all my other copies. So thank you, Penguin, for that. This book was everything to me. This is probably my favorite book in the series so far, or it's maybe tied with God of Malice, I don't know. This one followed Nico and Bran, so it was MM, and honestly, I loved this with my whole heart. It was so fun, it was spicy, and it did also touch on some very deep and dark topics, as these books normally do. All I want to say is that Bran, he deserves the world, and so does Nico. They are such a good couple. I was laughing in Nico's chapters so much. How he thinks and how he acts is just absolutely hilarious to me. He's almost like golden retriever, but he really isn't. Like, he's really not, but he is, but he's not. He's like a Doberman with like a cinnamon roll center. I don't know. He's like aggressive, strong, and pretty grumpy, but then with Bran, he's like soft and sweet. I don't know. He was just I loved it so, so much. One of my favorite quotes from the book was Nico saying to Bran, "Even if you hate yourself, I will love you enough for the both of us." Oh, my heart. 5 stars, easy. Okay, another one I have posted a reading vlog for. So if you've already watched that, you already know how I feel about this book. This book was a 6-star read for me. I cannot put into words how much I love this book. I haven't read anything like this before, but this is like a dark gothic fantasy with magic, immortal beings, demons, witches. It's set over 3 different timelines, and it is very much a love story. It is so, so romantic, and the love story is set over thousands of years, so it is very much I will find you in any lifetime vibes. And this is one that you do need to go into blind, so I'm not going to say anything else about it, but just know that if you do read it and you feel like you're being misled or gaslit or confused, that is intentional. That is how you're meant to feel. Just go with it, and honestly, the reward at the end when everything makes sense is so worth it. She's chunky, but she's a standalone, so we love that. After Fairytale, I picked up Slaying the Shifter Prince. That is also in the reading vlog where I read Fairytale, and this was such a welcome break from the sort of heavy and serious stuff I had been reading. I rated this 3.75 stars in the end, I think. I had so much fun reading it. Was it the best book I've ever read? No. But did I have a silly fun time? Absolutely, yes, I did. Also, he has a tail. Take from that what you will. So fun. The FMC did annoy me slightly towards the end, but I loved the MMC. He was, yeah, we liked him. And then the last book I read in January is City of Gods and Monsters. This was such a strong finish to the month. I rated this 4 stars in the end. I'm not sure what was missing from it to give it that little push to 5 stars for me, but I really enjoyed this. It set the story up really, really well. I did almost feel like this was a standalone when I read it, so I am very interested to see where it goes in the next books, because I absolutely will be continuing this series. This was recommended to me by Mariana and Bailey, and they love this series, and if they love it, I'm gonna love it. There's no question about it. And I actually got this book for Christmas from my sister-in-law, so thank you to my sister-in-law for getting me this book. I really, really enjoyed this. I really, really loved the MMC, Darien Castle. He was just everything I could possibly want from MMC. He was a tortured soul, and we love a tortured soul. I think maybe it was the FMC that maybe stopped me from rating this 5 stars. This is an urban fantasy, so it's very hard not to read this and compare it to Crescent City, especially because there were a lot of similar tropes and elements included in this that were in Crescent City, and Crescent City was an easy 5-star read for me. I adore that series, and I think maybe that is why I couldn't rate this 5 stars, because it didn't quite reach the bar that Crescent City set for me. I think in the beginning I was thinking, oh yeah, this has the potential to be better than Crescent City, and it probably still does as the series goes on, because I think this gets better as it goes on, whereas Crescent City kind of ended up taking a bit of a, but yeah, very much Crescent City vibes. Different storyline, but vibes were there. I really enjoyed it. I will be continuing Darien Castle. That is all. So guys, that pretty much wraps up everything I have to talk about in this video. The next time you see me, I think will be in my New York vlog. So I am going to New York in 3 days now, and I am going with Mariana, Bailey, Emmy and Larry, so we will be filming loads of book content, so I will hopefully be able to get that to you as soon as possible. I'm probably not going to be doing any editing while I'm away, so it'll all be posted towards the end of February, I would say, and then hopefully in March we can do a full TBR jar video and pick my whole TBR for the month. That's enough waffling on from me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy watching this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.